So in this video, I'm going to be going over my everyday carry. Now, some things are pretty much staples that I have all the time, don't really switch out. And then there are some things that kind of vary from day to day or kind of what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. If you guys wanna support this channel, the review channel here, the armory and all that, and you want more of this content, like, subscribe, do all that. Check out our website, armscholar.com. We have a lot of stuff over there. And then also, if you're looking for some of these items or you're looking for deals or coupons, we have stuff over there as well. So sorry for my voice. I have a little bit of like, I don't know, like a sickness or phlegm or something going on. But so let's go over kind of some of the boring stuff first, and then we'll get into the exciting stuff, the guns and all that. For the most part, you know, have a watch on me. This is the Tissot PRX. I don't know, just kind of a beater watch that I like to kind of wear quite often. You know, kind of one of the staples, and I have other watches, nicer watches, but this is the one I kind of wear every single day, beater watch. As far as like what I wear for concealment and all that stuff, I pretty much look like this for the most part. Some sort of graphic tee, nothing usually that screams gun. If I'm going out in public, I don't like to wear, you know, apparel that overtly says like I have a gun on me. So I'll sometimes have a First Form shirt or a hat. Blue jeans, sneakers, that's pretty much it. Always have a phone. This is, I don't know, iPhone 16 Plus or whatever, one of the new ones. Wallet, I don't know, this is like a Coach wallet my wife got me. Just a leather wallet. I used to have a Travax wallet that went in the front pocket. I wore that for years. I had that for years. I actually really love it. But I wanted to switch over to just, you know, back pocket again for whatever reason. Just switch things over just because, I don't know, I felt like it. EDC belt. This is pretty much the standard that I have on all the time. This is the Travax Cinch. I like this belt as an EDC belt, one, because it's pretty rigid for what it is. It's just some sort of like scuba webbing. Very simple. You know, it just goes through the notch and then tightens down. Nothing crazy. It's not like, you know, a core essential ratchet belt or anything like that. It's pretty simple, but I like it because it's very rigid. I've worn this for years. As you can see, like it's all pretty much indented wherever I use it. Use this for years. Never really had any issues with it. It doesn't wear, you know, it's fraying a little bit on some spots, but not anything crazy again for me having this for 4 or 5 years. But I really like it because I carry appendix. And what I found with some other belts, with them being thicker, not necessarily more rigid, but they're thicker, when I appendix carry, it just pushes the gun out a little bit more than necessary. And it leads to me printing a little bit more, but also it just makes it a little bit more uncomfortable. So this is kind of the best solution that I've found. I like this belt. Again, I've worn it for years. Probably won't ever switch. My father-in-law also wears the same belt for concealed carry. He carries different than me. He carries 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And again, he's had no issues with these belts. You know, we've worn them for years. Not sponsored by Travax or anything like that. I have no relationship with them. It's just, I really like their stuff. And you'll kind of see that throughout. Like I said, I had a Travax wallet that I had for a long time. My keychain is a Travax keychain. I like it because it's just a lanyard, you know, quick little detach QD. And then I can hook this on my belt, but also it works as a bottle opener. I have a little like Olight light on here, just in case I ever forgot a pocket light. I have one on my keychain. I don't even know what this one is, the IR2. It's rechargeable. Again, pretty much just sits on my keys here. And then I have a Ridge key organizer, just because I'd rather have that than stuff just hanging out and jiggling all over the place. At least I can organize all this stuff. So keychain's pretty much standard. I always have a light and a pocket knife on me. It varies. Usually for a whole month, I put something in my pants and it stays there as I change clothes and all that. And I don't really switch it out that much, but this light is the Streamlight Macro Stream. I really like this light. As you can see, I actually use it quite a bit because it's all worn out on one side from the pocket knife. The pocket knife, again, varies, but right now I've been carrying the Benchmade Bug Out. Again, really like this knife. I've had it for years. I've used it a lot, primarily just to open Amazon boxes and packages and stuff like that, and just do little admin stuff. You know, the wife always says like, hey, do you have a knife on me? Or do you have a light? and I always do because everybody always needs a knife or a light, and I'm always the guy that has it because, as you guys know, if you everyday carry, nobody else ever carries a knife or light, but they always need one, and then it's on you. So yeah, that's pretty much standard as far as like belt, knife, light. For a long time, I was also carrying this light here. This is the Cloud Defensive. I don't even know what brand, what like model number this is. I carried this probably for 4 or 5 months. Again, you can see there's some wear on it. But then it died on me. And when I mean died, the battery started to flicker. And so I thought that I just needed to recharge it. So I recharged it. And then after I recharged it and was using it for a while, it would work, but then it would again continue to flicker on and off. And now at this point with this battery, it's just completely dead. So I don't know if it's a battery issue or if it's a light issue, but this light completely died on me. So I don't wear that one anymore. I have like the Streamlight Micro Stream that I've carried quite often. What is it, like the Surefire Stiletto? I've carried that. I try to keep everything fairly light on me. And then if I want more, I usually will carry it in a fanny pack. So that kind of moves into like the actual carry system. Any given day, I'm either carrying with a fanny pack or I'm just carrying on body. So fanny pack usually is the easiest grab and go if I'm just going from the house to the office and I don't feel like I actually need the gun on me because I'm just gonna be in the car going from the house to the office. I don't worry about it too much. I'll just throw it in the fanny pack, throw it in the backpack, no big problem. One of the main carry guns that I usually will have either in the fanny pack or on me is just a simple Glock 43. Now, I recently upgraded this. This is Brownell's slide and barrel. And as you can see, it's a ported barrel. So haven't had any issues with it yet. It reduces recoil a little bit, but nothing crazy. I might end up actually putting a Radian Ramjet afterburner on the 43 that they just came out with. But for right now, I'm running that. And then the optic is a Holosun EPS carry. And the holster that I have this in is a Mechanic Tech holster for a Glock 43. And then it pretty much just sits right in the back pocket of the fanny pack. And then it has, you know, zippers that I can just quick zip and get out if I need to. This fanny pack is the Eberly stock. I like it. I've used it for years now. No problems with it whatsoever. Medication in the front pocket. You always got to have medication, Advil, Aleve, whatever. In the secondary pocket is something that I kind of came up with and put together, which I use whether or not I use it and I have it stored in the fanny pack, but if I'm taking the Glock 43 out, I'm going to carry it on me. I also take this out and clip it inside my belt right by the appendix belt. This is a snake staff survival mini tourniquet. And on it, on the back, what I ended up doing is I just did a piece of Velcro, put the piece of Velcro on there. And then I took, this is, I think, a T-Rex Arms tourniquet holder, and it's Velcroed, and I just Velcroed it right on the back. And then I took a Kydex insert from one of my like range belts or a spare like mag holder that I had and put the plastic insert inside the tourniquet holder. So then now I have a mag holder. And I really like this because this clip works really well. It works really, really well with the appendix carry. So I just slide my belt over, put that in. Get this one. Put that one in. And they kind of just nest right next to each other, which I like. That way, up front, I have a small carry with my Glock 43 that I can get to. And then I have a tourniquet right on me and then a spare mag. I like this because it's not as bulky, but sometimes I will switch completely to something else. Again, talking about like systems and things that I have. If I'm just wanting to go pure appendix and I don't care about having a mag holder on me or anything like that, I just use this LAS concealment. It's a holster and a sidecar, and then just, you know, carried appendix. So that's kind of one of the main carry guns that I have. I like the Glock 43. It's small, no frills, don't really have to worry about much. And it's nice because I can either just throw it right in this fanny pack, or if I want to switch to the sidecar kind of style holster, I switch to the sidecar style of holster. Beyond that, if, you know, the weather's changing and I want to carry something a little bit bigger, or I know I'm going somewhere where potentially I might actually have to use my gun, which I try to avoid those situations anyways, but if I'm going somewhere and I know I'm going to be carrying on body, and I'm not going to have the fanny pack or anything like that, I will carry either my Glock 19 and this Glock 19. So this is, I believe, a QVO tactical holster, Kydex holster. And then it's just a basic Glock 19 for the most part. I mean, obviously I made changes to it. This is a TLR1 HL light. It's on a Brownell slide, Radian Ramjet afterburner, cut out with the Brownell slide, Trijicon SRO. I think I have suppressor height night sights, stipple job on the lower, and then I got an agency trigger in here. So this one is a pretty done up Glock 19. This was one of my main training guns for a long time. I still use this quite often when I go train or whatever. It's just kind of one of those guns that I know is reliable, don't have to worry about it. It just runs. I actually, as I was saying that, recently had a problem with it because that specific handgun easily has 10,000 plus rounds through it. Way more than that probably. And I was having I had an aftermarket slide catch on it, and I was having some situations where it was locking back when it shouldn't have. And when I was starting to look at the gun, I noticed that the aftermarket slide catch, just because so many repetitions of rounds and it locking, you know, slide locking and all that stuff over time, it started to bend slightly. So it was catching when it wasn't supposed to. So I ended up just completely taking that off, took the aftermarket part off, and just put back in the standard Glock mag catch. And again, no issues with it since then. Just one of those things that as the rounds accumulated on it, some things were starting to break down on it. So I just kind of did a overhaul and cleaned it up and updated it. And I think I changed out the striker and some of the stuff in, you know, internals as well, just to give it a refresh. One of the new guns in the carry rotation is the fancy new California compliant Staccato P4 HD. This is the 4-inch. This is not the 4.5. One of the first reviews I did on this channel, I guess, was on the Staccato. This is a TLR1 HL also on this, in-point acro on it, and then everything else is pretty standard. Really like this gun. I really like to carry this gun. I love to shoot this gun. My personal opinion for specifically California residents, because I understand if you're in a different state, you have access to different Staccatos. Like, you're not pretty much locked into just this one. But unfortunately for us in California, the only one on the roster right now as far as Staccato is this one. And it takes Glock mags, so it'll take your Freedom Week mags. And I think for California residents, there's a lot of value in that. I like it. I really enjoy shooting it. Everybody I've handed this to really enjoys it. Yeah, so then it sits in one of kind of my universal holsters. This is the Tier 1 Concealment Modern Samurai Project holster for the TLR1 light that I have. And I can run a lot of different guns in this one, which is what I like, because I don't have to keep buying more and more holsters. I mean, I have a whole bucket in there full of holsters. But at least with this one, I know that it works with pretty much any full-size, mid-size handgun as long as it has that light on it. And then I carry, you know, spare mag with this one. Again, Glock mags, Glock 17 mags, which is nice. And that's pretty much it. Like, I don't get super complicated with having a ton of medical on me or anything like that. The only variance I would say, which is part of my everyday carry, is a backpack. I most of the time will have a backpack on me or in my vehicle. And this is a backpack I'm now using. It's the Silent bag. It's a Faraday backpack, which is kind of nice. I put my laptop in the back pocket in this Faraday pouch, which kind of goes right in there in a designated, little designated spot for the laptop holder, which I like. And then it has a bunch of different spots that I can put different things in there. Usually I have charging cords and all that stuff for the laptop or the phone or whatever. The only other different thing that I have in this that I don't have in other things is I do have another snake staff mini tourniquet that's in this backpack, and then a little mini medical kit. And this medical kit, I believe, came from T-Rex Arms or someone like that. Just very simple, nothing crazy. It's a little blowout pouch, super easy to throw in a bag. And I have something, if I was in my car and something happened, I would have something, I would have a tourniquet in some way to stop a bleed. I personally am not really good at any medical stuff. I've taken some courses, but by no means am I an EMT or anything like that. But I still think it's nice to have stuff on you. I will always have headphones, Apple headphones. I have a spare wired one all the time because quite often the headphones will be dead. If I'm going through the airport or something like that and I forgot to charge them, at least I have some wired ones. And then a pair of sunglasses. These are just prescription Ray-Ban sunglasses that I always have in the backpack as well. And I'm actually going to be switching to soon. I ordered some of those like Ray-Ban Meta glasses, and I'll probably be trying those out for a while. I'll be using them for content here when I go to the range, and just other stuff. Was interested in them, so I decided I'll buy them. I'm going to try them out, and they were like 50% off at the time, and I was able to get prescription and transition lenses, which was nice. So 50% off, and I got all the stuff I needed. Beyond that, nothing else crazy. I guess the only other question maybe someone would ask, and if you have other questions, it's something I didn't cover that I completely forgot, let me know. But right now, some of the defensive ammo I have in these guns is the G9 Defense. It's like their proprietary hollow points, but they're not really hollow points. They're kind of like this riveted hollow point, and they're supposed to expand differently. I've seen some reviews on them, and they seem kind of interesting. So I've used them at the range. Obviously, I've never done any like ballistic dummy tests with them or anything like that because I just don't do that. But I've seen some guys that have done them, and they seemed really interesting with like the penetrating factor and like how they balloon out. Seemed interesting, so I'm running those in some of the guns right now. But other than that, if I don't have those in a lot of my other carry guns, I either have gold dots or I have Hornady critical duty or critical defense, one of the others. So that's usually what I have in those. And then other than that, that's pretty much it. Again, phone, wallet, knife, light, watch, a carry gun on me, either the 43, probably 80% of the time, or the 19 or the Staccato at this point. And then other than that, sometimes I'll have a tourniquet on me. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll have a spare mag on me. Sometimes I won't. Usually I'll have a spare mag on me. If I'm carrying appendix sidecar style, I'll have an extra mag on me. I would say like 90% of the time I have an extra mag on me, especially if I'm carrying fanny pack, I'll have extra mag. If I'm carrying appendix sidecar, I'll have an extra mag on me. The only time probably I wouldn't is if I'm carrying just the Glock 19. Sometimes I don't have a spare mag on me. But again, that just kind of varies depending on what I'm doing. And then I always have a backpack with me with my laptop, extra medical, extra tourniquet, sunglasses, all of those things. So again, nothing crazy. I wanted to do an EDC video because I know a lot of people maybe have questions about how I carry, what I carry. I remember when I started the main channel, one of the first videos I ever did was going over my EDC gear, and it's changed drastically. I mean, the channel's existed maybe for 5-6 years at this point, and what I have now, what I have available to me now, and how I carry now is drastically different. So it needed to be updated so you guys could see. If you guys have any questions about any of my specific gear, why I carry, if you think of something that maybe I missed, let me know. I don't think that there's really anything else crazy. I always have, I have chains on me. Maybe you guys would notice. These are always on me. I think it's good just for having extra gold, but I also like having chains. But this one right here that I have on me at all times is just a gold chain, and then I have 2 crosses and then a gold bar. And each one of these was given to me by a family member. So one of these was given to me by my mom on one of my birthdays when I was younger, and I've had that ever since. This one was given to me by my dad for Christmas, I believe in like 2017. And then this gold bar was given to me by my stepmom when my dad passed away. She gave a necklace and a gold bar to all of us kids, and it says dad on there and has some scriptures and the date he passed away. So those are always on me. I always have them. And, you know, the same kind of concept with watches. If I'm wearing a nice watch or a watch that's semi-valuable or gold, if you ever got in a situation where you didn't have cash, maybe you could barter them. Unlikely, but at least you have an option. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything. If you guys have any recommendations for how you guys carry and things that maybe people don't think about, drop them down in the comment section. And again, if you want to support this channel and you want more gun reviews, gear reviews, I'm going to be doing a lot more outdoor range and shooting content here soon, especially when I get those meta glasses. I'm going to be trying those out, taking them out to the range and actually shooting and doing some content on some of the handguns, running some drills and all that stuff. Probably also going out to some training courses that I do frequently but never filmed. I'm going to be going out to those, filming those, and also putting those up here as well. So thank you guys for your support. Again, if you like this content, like, subscribe, comment, and all that. But as always, thank you guys for watching. And don't forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.